Hey everybody, look, I wanted to talk to you today about stress and how you can support your gut health when you're going through stressful events. So I think the first thing is to understand what is a stressful event. I get clients coming to me all the time and they say to me, oh no, I'm not stressed, I don't have any stress, things are really good and all the rest of it. Stress is when your brain perceives a harmful event or something that is worrying. Things like moving house, buying a new car, selling a car, marital distress. I'll talk about that one in a minute. That's a beauty. There's a recent study about that. All these things are perceived stresses that the body goes into a reactionary state with the central nervous system, what you'll know as your fight or flight. It doesn't matter that you say, I'm not stressed. For example, when you watch the news at night and you are seeing war, accidents, unrest, the political situation, you're sitting there going, oh, I can't believe this is terrible, da da da. That is a stressful event that is playing out on your body. So whether you think it's having an effect, it is. Physiologically, it is having an effect. What is happening physiologically inside you? So even things as they've done studies of people looking at movies, when people are looking at really funny and happy and supportive things that make people feel in a really good state, their blood pressure lowers, they have better digestion going on, the parasympathetic nervous system gets into effect. So there's all these really positive things. On the flip side to that, when people watch things, I don't know, if you watch Jaws in the 1970s, a major player in gut issues. When you're watching something really stressful, then your brain is going, perceived harmful event, this is what happens. Increase in blood pressure. The vessels dilate. Contraction of muscles. So this tensing of muscles, okay? Because when we're getting into this fight-flight response, we're ready to run, to flee. So blood has to come surging through our body so we can get through and get into these stressful events. Your breathing becomes quick and shallow. You're no longer getting these deep calming things. Anyone that's had a baby can get that one. Majorly stressed. This is what happens. Now, on the flip side to that happening, that would be, if that in itself was there, we'd go, okay, that's fine. We can get over that. And you can. Your body reverts back to its normal processes again after that stressful event happens. But on the flip side, our parasympathetic nervous system, that is our rest and digest. What that does for our body is it lowers heart rate, okay? It increases that beautiful deep breathing, it increases. This parasympathetic nervous system is rest and digest. Okay, so understand that, digest. Also what it does is it increases intestinal juices. So it plays a role, parasympathetic nervous system, in increasing those digestive juices that you need to break down food. Hydrochloric acid, all the gastric juices, pepsinogen to break down proteins, that's what it does. It also relieves muscle stiffness, so it creates this relaxation of the muscle. So we know that magnesium, calcium contract, magnesium releases. So it implores all these different minerals to work with the whole body. What happens is most people have these events all the time. Sometimes, and we know that irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disorders, and a lot of inflammatory diseases start from a stressful event of something big that happened, and then it's continuing on. Even though we say, oh, I've got control and I'm fine, your body is reacting in a different way. You have to be aware of that. You have to understand that that is a player in it. A recent study talked about the effects of marital distress, who hasn't got that, over their blood levels and intestinal permeability. So it measured that directly. And what it found is these couples came in, they were aged between 24 and 61, and they came in and they were just talking about it. They wasn't mid-fight or why haven't you done this and why am I doing this and you're not doing that and who's taking the kids and all those things that happen in marriages. They were just talking about it. And as part of it, they measured their C-reactive protein, which is an inflammatory marker in the blood. And what they found was that during this time and when they measured, there was increased C-reactive protein, so increased inflammation. The tight junctions in the gut became looser, and there was bacterial translocation, specifically these endotoxins that our pathogenic produce, across this mucal layer, across this gut epithelium level, into the bloodstream, causing those inflammatory markers, causing an increase in things that they talked about is heart disease, inflammatory disorders, irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease, even causing attacks with rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, all of these things being linked to obesity. So we know all of those things are because this increased stress, and it doesn't matter if there's 10 little ones or one big one, they still have the same effect. And over time, what happens is that increased vasodilation, the increase in blood pressure, the shallow breathing, the increase in muscle stiffness and whatever, what happens over time is it increases the chances of headaches and migraines, heart disease. It's been directly linked to increase in blood pressure, cholesterol and heart disease. So these things play a very big role in our health. Stop saying, I'm not affected by stress, because I can't imagine anyone who isn't. This is what you need to do when you are going through stressful events. Be aware that it happens. It is called life. You're not getting away from it. You're going to have times where life is going to be crazy and happy and wonderful, and then it's going to be a shitstorm. And things are going to be happening, and work's not going well, or something's happening at home and the roof fell in, or someone's not doing their homework, or hubby's not doing this, or the wife's not doing that. All those things happen and they are so stressful. Just even talking about it, I can feel myself getting stressed about it. My body's going through, perceiving this event, and it's going tightness in muscles, heart rate going up. I can feel the difference. Be aware that these things happen and go into having your first aid kit on how to manage. Okay, so we're not talking about the harm that's done. That's a very different thing of getting on fixing those things, which is all fixable, so don't worry about that. But this is about what's going to happen. So when you know next week is going to be a shitstorm, and you know that I've got the kids are doing this and I've got to get to work and all these things, or there's big meetings all week and all the rest of it, this is what you need to do. And it's really easy. Make a few big batches of different soups and stews, chickpea stews. On my website I had this beautiful black bean and sweet potato chili type stew. There's lots of recipes on the feed if you scroll down of really beautiful calming. And even when you talk about soups and stews, you're like, oh, it's just so nice to sit there with a bowl and it's really calming. Make those your lunches and dinners. Mix it up. Don't have the same soup the whole time, but have those beautiful veggies that are already pre-softened. Give yourself that rest and digest, because what you're working with is, think about a washing machine. Your stomach is like a washing machine. It's not working well. So say, for example, it's not spinning well or doing something. You don't stuff the same amount of food in. And you also might go, oh, this wash is actually really dirty. It's a bit greasy or whatever. So what I'm going to do is going to get the side winder. So I'm going to give it a bit of a scrub. I'm going to break down that dirt. So because I know that that washing machine is not quite powered as well. So I'm going to work it out. I might do a longer cycle so that it can get it done properly. So think about your stomach in the same way. Give it foods that are softer and easier to digest. Again, in mornings, have smoothies or porridge, things that are soft and warming or even cooling, but things that are already pre-digested that you can take your time, that you can sip over a certain amount of time. So that's really important, the smoothies and stews type of thing. They're easy to do. You can make a batch. You can freeze a smoothie. So you can make different smoothies, make one berries and bananas, and the next day do something with the greens or whatever. You can suspend it in animation and freeze it and take it out the night before and have it ready for the next day if things are really that busy. Really important. Another thing that you need to do is, when you are eating these things, to bring down those levels of stress, is get away from things like the computer or the news. I hear so many of my clients say to me, oh, when I have evening dinner, I'm watching the news. Oh my God, that is possibly the worst thing to do. Have you ever watched the news? Oh my God, it is death, destruction. It's either some political kerfuffle that they don't know what they're doing, and so then you're sitting there going, bloody hell, what's happening? Those idiots. Again, stressed, okay? You see what's happening there? Or you're seeing an accident, oh, those poor people, oh my God, that's terrible, I can't watch all that. Stress. Those responses of noradrenaline, adrenaline and cortisol going through your system, yourself starting to tense up, heartbeat. That is your central nervous system acting out on what it sees. It doesn't even need to be happening to you. It's what you see. Very important to get away from the news. Okay? You can go without looking at the news for a month. Nothing's going to happen. If you're worried about the weather, stick your head out the window in the morning and have a look. If you're worried about, I want to know my sports results, then Google it and look it up and see what's happening. But get away from all those news programs that are full of destruction and despair. Do not fill your mind with that. Instead, sit outside, sit at the dinner table, look out at what the world is. Be grateful for what you have, not what you don't have, but what you have. Lastly, before you start eating, a really great breathing exercise to do is, I'd call it 5, 6, 7. So breathe in just before your meal, because remember, you're trying to give this rest and digest. You're going to bring down the central nervous system so that it powers the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, to increase motility, increase gastric juices. So breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And breathe out 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And do that a few times. And that's going to really help support. I know it sounds a bit guru, and I know it's not always my thing. You know me, I'm like, whatever. But I'm very aware that because, especially too, people that are go-getters and do this, there's a lot more perceived stressful events. There's this to-do list. I've got to get things done and whatever. It doesn't matter whether you think you are. Even if you track back with gut health issues, I can guarantee when I go further enough back with clients, when they say to me, I'm fine, and we go back with that, we will find a massive stressful event that happened, and it carries through from there. So it is going to happen. Don't worry about it. It's what we call life. Comment below, what have you done during stressful events that have supported that journey? Because this is what's going to support your gut health. You can't keep going crazy and attacking your body and see that it's not going to have any effect. It is. So let me know what you do during stressful events, and let's share the healthy gut love. Have a great day, guys. See you later. Bye.